It all began one sunny day during fifth grade. We've just gone outside for PE. Ah, yes, today is the day for dodgeball, alright? I thought to myself, but to my surprise, the teachers didn't get the round, rubbery, red, bouncy balls or the giant green, dirty yoga balls for dodgeball, but rather they got basketballs. As one of the teachers said out loud, "Alright, children, today we've decided to change up PE because we weren't able to find the dodgeball, so instead today's activity will be basketball." I was in utter disbelief that the teachers had really chosen that as today's game instead of dodgeball. Now, don't get me wrong, I like the sport of basketball, but at the age when you were one of those kids that loved dodgeball and was decently better than all the other kids, but their problem was I would totally sucked at basketball. And to make matters worse, I didn't even know how to play basketball. So I thought to myself, great. Out of all the choices, the teachers chose basketball. Ugh. And some of my friends called out, "Yes, yes, yes, I love basketball. You're all about to taste my dust and I'm gonna break all your ankles." Then the teachers began to call out, "Okay, kids, line up so we can make teams." I reluctantly got in line with the other kids to get into teams. Three bouncies," called out some of the kids as we began to play. I didn't even know how to play, so I was just running back and forth to make it look like I knew what I was doing. Then I started to chase one of the kids with the ball, and he was pretty good. He was able to juke past the other kids, but then he was running towards me. I tried to block him, or at least try, and then the moment he threw the ball upwards to try to get it over me, he threw the ball and it hit me right squared on the forehead. And I got confused, and due to the impact, I lost my balance and I tried to regain it. I fell, but I didn't land on my feet. Rather, I landed on my ankle. The pain felt as if my foot had just completely come off and that my ankle had been shattered into a million pieces. The sharp pain was like if someone had gotten a stick and swung it right at my ankle. Once I fell to the floor, I grabbed my ankle and began to tear up. The pain was just too intense. The intensity of the pain in my ankle was overwhelming. It felt as if my ankle was on fire, but yet at the same time, it felt like a numb feeling, as if my ankle had been dumped in freezing cold water for a day. One of my friends helped me get up and asked if I was okay. I told him that I couldn't stand up upright and I couldn't put pressure on my ankle, and it hurt too much for me to walk. He took me over to one of the lunch benches where I sat down and waited for one of the ladies in the office to come and get me. Once one of the attendance ladies came out to get me, she asked if I was fine, which I thought was kind of ironic seeing as my eyes looked like red chili peppers due to me crying about my ankle. And so she helped me up and I walked as slow as a turtle, but yet she still helped me. As we walked, she helped she helped me limp. Just to walk from the benches to the office felt like an eternity. With every step, I felt as if the hallway was only getting longer. I had to take 15 steps before I stopped. It took me that long because the pain began to feel unbearable, but yet at the same time, my foot still feeling numb. When we finally got to the front office, I felt so relieved once the lady helped me sit down on a chair, as one of the other attendance office workers called my parents, and with no luck, no one answered. So I just sat there, looking at the clock across from me, counting every tick and tock. It began to get so annoying that it got stuck to my mind, like a beat of your favorite song you love to hear over and over again. I was so bored in the front office. I felt as if time was slower and I hoped that I could leave school early seeing as it was only lunchtime, which was at 11:40 a.m. As time went on, the bell rung, and I could hear all the happy children's voices muttered through the thick office walls. I was wishing for my mom and dad to just come through the doors of the office, but with no luck, I just sat there. My butt soon felt numb. I had to change my sitting position a few times, but even then it was painful due to my ankle, and me trying my hardest trying not to move it or have anything touch it. Then it happened. Finally! I told myself as I saw my mom walking into the office, asking me if I was fine and what happened. She helped me up and thanked the office ladies as we went through the doors of the office. When we got to the car, my mom helped me in and asked, ¿Qué pasó? As I responded to, Yo creo que me torcí el tobillo. She drove us to the emergency room in which I had to wait again, thankfully, in a comfier chair. I was put in a wheelchair, and to be honest, I loved being in a wheelchair and it felt cool. And I kind of thought I was going to get one instead of crutches. When one of the doctors called my name, she took me behind the front desk and asked me some questions like what happened or where does it hurt. And then when we were done, she asked me to step back into the waiting room. After 45 minutes, a doctor in a light blue lab coat came through some doors, asked asked me to walk with him past the front office, told me to follow him and my mom as well. As we were following him, I could see all kinds of people and those funny things nurses tell you to get in when you're getting your physical done or are there for a checkup. I hope I didn't get put into one of those, but it was useless. All my hope and prayers couldn't save me from putting it on. And as well as my mom making a few comments as that I looked funny and me replying to it a little. I felt nervous seeing as I had never been to an emergency center before. I and if you were to compare my nervousness and fear, it would be like when you try killing a spider or a bug and then miss it, and then you can't find the spider or bug, so you frantically search your whole room and stomp on everything, hoping you'll kill it in whatever it's in. When the doctor came back, he took me to an x-ray room to get an x-ray of my ankle, and sure enough, after we took the x-rays, he said, Yep, your ankle's sprained alright, but does this hurt? At the moment he grabbed my foot, it moved up, and with that I said no, and then he moved it down, and when he did that, a shot of pain just seared in my ankle like a fierce fire. Ow! I cried out, and in which he said, I apologize, but yes, as I stated, your son's ankle seems to be sprained. It will be back. I will be back with a cast for him to wear for a month and a half, which I was kind of happy to hear, seeing as I could use the elevator and be one of those kids that would ask their friends if they can go up the elevator with them so that they could go up instead of the stairs. Once he put the cast on me, he told us he'd give me some crutches with which I sadly had wished had been a wheelchair rather than crutches. It took me of a while to get used to them, and after we left the emergency room, I used the crutches to walk, and it kind of hurt my armpits, but it would be something I'd have to get used to.